Hey guys, it's Toya and thank you for watching ToyaJTV. This is week 16 of the How to Stretch Your Relaxer series. And for some of you, you are getting your relaxer this day. But for me, I am continuing on. So I have already shampooed and blow dried my hair. I'm going to show you how to get that 90s volume and still have a lot of body. So I've already shampooed and conditioned my hair for the prep. I set up under the dryer to let it get dry, but I blow drying it just so I can stretch it all the way out and get it as straight as possible before I add heat. And before we get started, I want to show you my new growth. So at 16 weeks, this is how much new growth you should have. You should have at least 2 full inches of new growth. This is what 4 months of new growth will get you. And the reason why, again, as I explained earlier, for all this new growth is because that's how far you come down when you get a touch up anyway. So we want your hair to be healthy. So I'm using the by L. Jones Silky Serum Oil as a heat protectant. I'm making sure I put this on the ends. Remember that I said the ends of the hair are the oldest and they need the most TLC. And I'm also making sure I apply it to the root because when I'm this deep off in the stretch, I like to put more heat on the roots and then come down to the ends. So you definitely want to make sure those areas are covered with the heat protectant. And then I'm just combing it in to ensure that it gets evenly distributed over all of the hair. These are the rollers that I'm going to be using for this week's tutorial. I'm going to be using these and this size. I'm going to be using a few different sizes because, you know, in the back my hair is stacked or layered. So I'm going to be needing different size rollers. You know, the larger the roller, the more volume you'll have. So I'm going to be using large rollers and the smaller the roller you use, the smaller the roller, the less curl, the more curl you'll have. And I don't want a whole lot of curl. Okay, so the first step is I'm going to be taking thin sections. You know, I've already told you guys this, but you have to take thin sections. And then I'm just going to bump it on the ends. You know how your mom used to make you get your hair back in the day with just that little bump that you hated. But for this, we need that bump because after I bump a few pieces, then I want to take the roller and actually secure it. Okay, so the key is to make sure you bump that hair and get it rolled while that hair is still warm so that hair can sit. And then we're not going to take it down until the hair cools all the way off. So as soon as you actually put the heat on it, then you want to immediately roll it up right after that. Okay, so now I'm just continuing on throughout the rest of the head, and that back part is going to be kind of tricky for me, but I'm going to continue to do it. Okay, I'm just going to use the very small rollers in the very back, and I had to go ahead and break out that Toy Primo because it helps me grip that back so much easier. So that's what I'm going to end up doing, and then you just want to continue all throughout the back of the head, and then once you get all the rollers in, you just want to make sure that you're able to use that roller at least so it can roll around that hair at least 1.5 times. So this is me with all the rollers all the way out in the head, and you can sit up under the dryer if you want to let this cool, but make sure you do it under the cool setting. And I'm using the by L. Jones Miracle Potion number 9 to spray. This helps with shine, it adds frizz, and it makes the hair smell so good. So now that my hair is completely dry, I'm just going to take the rollers out. And you can already see how much volume the hair has. So this is the back. And actually, my hair is so thick that I really don't need any extra volume. I'm just doing this so I can show you how to get more volume in your hair. But I'm going to wrap this because this is just too much volume for me, child. I cannot do all that like that. But normally I would wrap this. But if you want to keep all that volume, you don't want to wrap it. You will just want to go right ahead into styling. So that's what I'm doing, going right into styling. And to me, the edges, they do lay better when you wrap it first because it makes them give that freshly relaxed look. But you guys wanted volume, so here's the volume that you asked for. So you just want to keep on continuing to style the hair. And as you can see, and also having that new growth, it helps you have a lot of volume too. So it can work in your favor. The more you have, the more volume you'll have, but you will still also have that body. So your hair will move and bounce and shake and all of that. But again, when you have thicker hair like mine, you have to kind of put that volume to a minimum because it can kind of be too much. But this is what you asked for. So this is what you're going to get. And you see it has the body too. So again, I'm going to end up probably wrapping this. So just to take just a teeny tiny bit of that out. But for those of you that have thinner hair or thinner strands, this is something that you can do to make your hair appear thicker because there's really no product that you can use to make your hair thicker. But there are some techniques that you can do to give the appearance of thicker hair. So if that's what you want to use a lot of rollers and you want to do a lot lot of wet sets and use less heat, and that will give you more volume and give the appearance of that thicker hair. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will be sure to see you guys next week for week 17. We'll be continuing until week 26. So I will link all of the products in the description box below, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. I'm so anxious just to feel the silence. It's so quiet, but